What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1071 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here, as always, with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I'm back. Apologies for my unexpected absence, but had a bit of a personal crisis going on that I had to deal with, and now I am back, and I'm happy to be here.
And with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there's not going to be a live show tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't know that this was happening on Brett's end, but it seems that they have no AC in the studio. So that's really bad for the people in the studio and the equipment in the studio.
They just turned the air off earlier. It's 88 here. It's not too bad, but it's supposed to be in the mid 90s tomorrow. And I'm not going to make like Olivia and Phil and Brandon sit in the studio with me tomorrow and cook. I'm going to pre-record some segments in the morning and put them out. It's just
maybe it's time to take the stream nocturnal.
I've got two fans on me right now. You can't see them, but I got two fans on me. It's
I am so sorry that is your situation over there.
So if I'm sweating today, it's not because y'all make me nervous. You guys don't make me nervous. I can take anything you guys want to throw at me. It's literally
because your blood is boiling with anger.
Exactly. It's not even boiling with anger. It's literally boiling because it's going to be super hot in here today. So with that being said, I'm giving you guys the heads up early about that. We're just we're not going to be having the air fixed in here until Friday in the morning. So we will be back live on Friday.
20 super chat here from Shane H. Wilder. Says, happy Wednesday, Brett and Mary. Welcome back, Mary. A internet show must enjoy my promotional posts. They reposted my Ren Fair post describing Kyler and Mary's medieval personas. Give it a read. It was entertaining to write. Well, first of all, how do you even know that it wasn't me reposting it? Okay, we've got a shadowy operation going on. But yeah, the Ren Fair video is coming soon. I don't know exactly when, but probably one of our next upcoming uploads is going to be our day at the Ren Fair and all of the chaos that ensued. Just right off the bat, it was torrential downpour and Kyler being drunk, and it was terrible weather, which led us to leave early. You'll see all of the twists and turns, the emotional roller coaster of the day.
Honestly, it sounds like one of those stories where it's so bad, like it happens to a family and it lives on in like family infamy at like holidays forever, where everybody recalls that bad day. Maybe
it's gonna be our incident, but not to say it was all bad. We had a great time for most of the day. It was just unfortunate timing when we had to leave. Unfortunately, like they sent everybody out at the same time, and I was like waiting to get escorted out by the sheriff, who was like making sure that people didn't end up in a pileup in the parking lot. And yeah, it was unpleasant for that part of the day.
Well, stay tuned for that, guys. Also, hit the like button on this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. 1 like equals 1 more degree. It can cool down in here. That's what I would like. Just get it all the way down. I want to be in negative temperatures by the time we're done with it. So hit the like button, and as always, subscribe. What are we talking about today? We have a bunch of stuff to get into. We're going to talk about the fact that Ariana Grande is currently shrinking at an enormous rate, and eventually she's going to just disappear behind her mic stand.
Yeah, I think that's probably her end goal, is to just get skinnier than a mic stand on stage so her fans can't even see her.
That's good.
Yeah, I think finally the tide is turning in her fan base, where they're finally willing to admit that something is off.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of dedicated gaslighters fighting on the opposite end of the spectrum. So we'll get into that.
We will talk about it. We're also going to talk about this post that went viral, talking about how the way that like homes and apartments and places you live in a movie, they just don't measure up to what they used to look like back in the day. And I think that it's we're always complaining about the lighting. Let's talk about the set design.
Lighting, yeah, the color grading, the costuming, but let's just talk about the set design, because where are the gays with clipboards these days?
Well,
what happened?
They're hiring the Obsession art director to do stuff, who's complaining about
Wait, sorry, I missed that story. What was that about?
It was so the
she was like mad about pay.
She was mad that the movie made as much money that it did, and she only made like her rate of $300 a day. She made like under $7,000 total for a month's worth of work, and she's complaining after the fact because she was offered the chance to take points on the back end, and they like discouraged her from doing so. And she's basically saying like, now that this movie is very successful, I want more. I'm going to be doing a video.
Takesies backsies,
no
lady.
Backsies. I'm going to be doing a video about it tomorrow because there's some stuff being misconstrued because there is a deal in place for the creatives on the team. And but the creatives doesn't mean her. She's a below the line worker. That now that the movie has reached these certain financial milestones at the box office, Jason Blum, Curry Barker, and a bunch of other people are going to be getting money on the back end because of this movie's success. But everybody's reposting the article about this and seeing like, see what you can do when you speak up. Because they think that they're going to be giving this money
people
to the crew.
Are so annoying.
Yeah.
Creative people specifically, like they have their characteristics that they share. It's just I don't have any patience for that. It's also like, be grateful that this is on your resume now.
Well,
you can use this to launch your career so much further than it otherwise would have gone.
That was everybody's critique.
Look on the bright side.
Everybody's critique was that you could have curtailed this into just a huge resume builder that would get you roles in a bunch of other stuff. And instead, you spoke out of school, and everybody's like, yeah, well, the system is broken. And they're like, it's not a system. It's a voluntary choice that you make to enter into a contract to do this. And you're never going to change that system because there's always going to be somebody who's going to be willing to work and build their resume that way. So,
well, I guess I will say at least she didn't make it a gender wage gap sort of talking point in the process. But it is true that I think men are more likely to take a risk that bets on themselves. Like men are just more willing to bet on themselves, and it often pays off. It often doesn't.
It doesn't pay off in that.
Hear about the stories where it does.
They're the anomaly, though. This is the rare example of the movie that was made for $750,000 that goes on to be unbelievably successful. But it's already been sold. It no longer belongs to Curry Barker and his production company because they sold it off at TIFF. And so Capstone Pictures or whatever it is, and the other people involved, they're the ones who reap the benefits because they took all of the risk. And basically, none of them agree with the idea that to be rewarded, you should also take a risk. They believe that the typical communist socialist nonsense of the workers, having a right to the means of production, despite the fact that they're not the ones actually putting any money into it. And they would never actually pay the money back in if the movie lost money, but they're happy to take more money after the fact. So. Well, I'll talk more about it tomorrow. It's interesting because nobody's reading the rap was very artful in the way they framed the article to get people to post about it, even though it's got nothing to do with the art director. So talk about that tomorrow. We're also going to talk about an OnlyFans hiker who had the hiking trip from hell. And yes, I did say OnlyFans hiker.
It's what will not collide with OnlyFans at this point. Like, what niche or community or hobby will they not infiltrate for the sake of getting simps to their platform? I don't know at this point, but there is this OnlyFans model named Cameron Renee who decided to go on a solo hiking trip on the Pacific Crest Trail, and she did no research or preparation beforehand and started vlogging the whole thing, putting her life at risk. Surprise, surprise, it did not end well for her.
It could have been worse. Did you ever read the book? This is literally a once in a lifetime thing, guys. I'm going to mention about a book I read. Did anybody here read the book Into the Wild about Christopher McCandless, the guy who went out to camp in the wood? They made a movie about it with was it like Elijah Wood or something like that, or Emil Hirsch?
I don't know about Into the Wild, but I do know about Wild, starring Reese Witherspoon, which was the inspiration for her hiking trip. Except she failed to realize that Reese Witherspoon is not Elle Woods in that movie.
Correct. But yeah, basically the book Into the Wild, which I still have somewhere, was about this guy who he did not have the wherewithal or the knowledge to go out and try to survive, yet he did. And from what I remember correctly, some berries ended up killing him. So
we have a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. In my dealings with dozens of creative people, I have discovered that most of them are remarkably shitty at negotiating their own deals.
That's why you're supposed to get an agent if you're a creative, because you need that guy with the business mind to negotiate for you.
See, this is what pisses me off about like all of these narratives that musicians have been taken advantage of, because they usually are incredibly irresponsible with money, or just don't understand the value of $1 and sign terrible deals, or don't advocate for themselves, don't negotiate in their own favor. And if it's about an adult rather than a child signing a record deal, yeah, I don't feel bad for you in that scenario.
Christopher McCandless ate the seeds of the wild potato plant, also known as Eskimo potato, and apparently the roots of it are safe. But the seeds were not. And nowadays you just use some stupid phone app to take a picture of it. And
true, you'll get the Yucca app or something.
Yeah,
right.
So
I have a great solution for this: how to never die on a hiking trail. You just don't go on one.
There you go.
Life hack.
There you go. Meanwhile, me, like I'm getting upwards to like Sunday. I did 20,000 steps and got in about 3 or 4 miles of that running. But then I had to do IRL Monday and Tuesday, so it just completely robbed me of all that progress I was making this week. So that's a bummer. Luckily, though, the neighborhood I live in is brightly lit, so you can go running at night.
Nice. Well, look, if the platform is paved, I will walk on it. I will not be running on it, but otherwise, forget it.
There you
Not
go.
doing it. I don't want alpha gal. I don't want to get poisoned. I don't want to get kidnapped. Just no.
All good.
Entirely no.
All right, we've got a bunch of other stuff. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it then. Chris Pratt is not even back in the news. He's just being dragged back into the news by eternal haters.
Correct. Chris Pratt is not in the news himself. His ex-wife, Anna Faris, is, because she is reprising her role in the Scary Movie franchise. She just hit the red carpet for Scary Movie 6 alongside her son, Jack, whom she shares with her ex-husband, Chris Pratt. And instead of talking about her or the movie, most of the responses are basically saying, congrats, Anna Faris, by the way, F you, Chris Pratt, you are trash. They're dragging him because they have spun this fantastical narrative about a dark secret in their family where he supposedly resents his child from his previous marriage for not being healthy. And I had never looked into this previously.
Yeah, I had to explain to you, like, this is the one rare time where I remember it was like he made one offhand comment about his next child being born healthy and how thankful he was for that. And then a bunch of people who are terminally on, literally the person who says, oh, you hate apples, like you love apples, you must hate oranges. We're like, oh, so you're so thankful that your new son is healthy. That must be because you hate your old kid because he wasn't born healthy. And then that would make you think that he was born with some disfigurement or that he was on crutches. He's perfectly healthy now.
He's perfectly healthy, at least as far as I can tell. He is a perfectly healthy, normal child, and looks like he's very happy.
Channeling Elton John with those glasses.
He looks cute in the glasses, good suit, whatever. He's fine. But I looked into this further and discovered that he was born 9 weeks premature in 2012 and suffered from severe brain bleeding, cerebral hemorrhage, and that raised concerns at the time about potential developmental disabilities. Down the line, he received extensive medical intervention, including hernia surgeries, eye surgeries. He had heart issues, but he has recovered since then. He currently faces only minor vision problems and leg muscle issues with no severe long-term disabilities. So basically, he is a healthy kid, and I don't know where this narrative comes from that he is special needs. It's kind of giving like all of the speculation about Barron Trump, and it's just like people prying into a situation that they're not entitled to know about. But the narrative goes, according to the people who have Chris Pratt derangement syndrome, he hates his son because he's not healthy, and that he only loves the children that he has with his current wife, who is Katherine Schwarzenegger. And he recently posted about their anniversary of 7 years on X, saying, "Grateful that I get to share this lifetime with you. Happy 7 years, darling," with some photos of the couple.
Oh, you're grateful for the 7 years with her. That must
How
mean that
dare
you were
you.
not grateful for the years you spent with Anna Faris.
Every post that is celebrating, Anna Faris coming back to the franchise or the work that she's doing currently somehow still circles back to F. Chris Pratt. He is a trash, degenerate human being who doesn't deserve to have his success and his happiness. There was another post that I found about Katherine Schwarzenegger from Evie Magazine, actually, which said that she was celebrating marriage in April on her Instagram. She posted a video of Chris Pratt building a dollhouse for their daughters with a caption that playfully pushed back on the feminist notion of not needing a man. She captioned it, "I'll never understand when women say I don't need my husband, when I very much, in fact, do need my husband, because who else would build our daughters a dollhouse?"
Yep.
Very sweet girl dad moment, but it cannot take place without people commenting on his son from his previous marriage.
The top comment says, "Lol, she's admitting she can't follow some IKEA instructions to build a dollhouse. Skill issue."
This is just like insane. The people will find a problem anywhere. So for context, this blew up back in 2021 when Chris Pratt posted a photo of him and his current wife, captioned, "Guys, for real, look how she's looking at me. I mean, find you somebody that looks at you like that, We met in church. She has given me an amazing life, a gorgeous, healthy daughter. She chews so loudly that sometimes I put in my earbuds to drown it out, but that's love. She helps me with everything. In return, periodically, I open a jar of pickles. That's the trade. Her heart is pure and it belongs to me, my greatest treasure, right next to my Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card," which, if you know, is saying a lot. It's her birthday in about 6 weeks, so if I don't get her anything, I'll tell her to look back on this post. Love you, honey.
Of course he's not going to get her anything.
It's giving Dax Shepard. No, it's not. It's not giving Dax Shepard at all. But it's captioned, "Anna Faris trends on Twitter as people show her love after her ex-husband, Chris Pratt, praised his new wife in a new post saying, 'She's given me a healthy daughter.' Anna Faris has been open about her son Jack's health issues." So this is perceived as Chris Pratt throwing shade at his son for having health issues.
They limited the comments on this.
And by the way, they chose a photo of his son where he is much younger, when in fact this is a very old photo of his child. And
this post is from 2021, so
right, but he wasn't 4 years old in 2021. Yeah. He was probably 9 or 10, and is currently a teenager. So it was just misleading, to say the least. And I think it really does stem from people having a hate boner for Chris Pratt for other reasons that they're not willing to share in these posts about Anna Faris, because he's a libertarian and, nominally Christian, which makes him an anomaly in his industry. There have also been a lot of narratives about Anna Faris as an underdog in Hollywood recently, just because of Scary Movie 6 and her press tour related to that. She's talked a lot about feeling like some sort of misfit in the industry. This clip that Variety posted, she says that she felt love from the fans for many years, but not from the industry. Let's play that.
Okay. The gift of Scary Movie for me is I have a fan base like no other. No other.
And it's across every demographic.
And I really, man, I felt it. And I felt it for years, but not from the industry, you know?
Right.
But I felt something, there's a reason why.
Did you think this moment would come?
No, never. I was too cynical for this. I thought that I would be a cameo.
Okay.
And in another interview with Variety recently, she said being cast in Scary Movie was an earthquake in my life because she says she was never known for comedy and didn't think that she was hot enough to act or to make it as an actress. She said, I called my college roommate and said I was just cast as the lead in a spoof movie. And she said, oh, Anna, you're not funny. I was like, I know, I wasn't funny. She was right. Anyways, instead of focusing on the movie or this happy ending for her career, people are replying to it saying, go Anna Faris and F. Chris Pratt. He is the villain in her story. At least they've chosen him to be the villain in her story. She has never openly said anything that I know of in a negative light about him. Do you know why they split up?
I don't know why they split up.
Or what really happened there? Let me look that up and see.
Yeah. And then the other narrative that goes around is that he's somehow ashamed of his son and that he won't be seen in public with him, despite the fact that that is absolutely not true. He brings him to premieres. He's seen with him all the time. But you have to form a narrative in your mind about this guy being the bad guy because he wore a Gadsden flag shirt one time and didn't go to the Biden circle jerk rally that him and a bunch of Avengers did on Zoom.
I see. This adds some more color to the debate. Apparently, when they legally separated in 2017 after 8 years of marriage, there was reasons cited, or at least a rumor cited, that there were competitive dynamics and career-related insecurities as primary factors in their split. Anna Faris noted on her podcast that she ignored warning signs and that her hand was forced by their relationship struggles.
I wonder what that is. He's like, he didn't want her to act anymore or something? He wanted her to stay at home?
I don't know.
He's like, look, Scary Movie is past its prime. I'm doing Jurassic World now. Like, I'm not doing Community anymore. You're going to need to stay at home.
In what world does Chris Pratt feel threatened by the success of Anna Faris?
Well, how long ago?
Doesn't make sense
I mean, that's a fair point, depending on how long ago that actually was. It's not like he's been an action star for 30 years or 20 years. I mean, Jurassic World, which is when maybe somebody can point to some other things that he did before that, other than, was it Community was his big show?
I think it was Parks and Rec.
Or I'm sorry, Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic World was, from what I remember, his kind of launch into like action star guy, and then it was Marvel. So we're talking like 2015.
Mm-hmm. Well, some journalist at Puck News quote tweeted this red carpet interview of Anna Faris saying, Anna Faris opening the house bunny as a top-billed comic movie star to relative fortune and glory in summer of 2008, and then her reward being playing the girlfriend in the late 2010 Yogi Bear movie was a pretty succinct encapsulation of Hollywood's sexist double standards.
What does that mean?
I guess he's claiming that she wasn't given the opportunities that she deserved because she's a woman.
I mean, this is what happens.
I guess he's suggesting that people have a bias against women in comedy. But I think women can play comedic roles. They're just not good at stand-up.
Who's a comedic actor that you can think of that's a woman that's actually really funny? I'm drawing a blank.
I mean,
I'm sure there
love
are.
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey's a great example. She seems to be one of those ones who transcends too.
Yeah.
She doesn't ever seem to be in the hot seat as far as like she never has to talk about the edginess of comedy or what it takes to still do comedy. She's just kind of there.
Gosh. I'm so tired of those conversations.
Yeah, and then all the comments are like F Chris Pratt. Look at them, so happy, and yet the son of a bitch, Chris Pratt, publicly thanked his current partner, they said partner, for giving him a healthy son. Jack has medical complications from being a premature baby. And they says she's also proud of her son presenting to the press. Well, ex-Chris Pratt doesn't care, except for all you have to do is go on X and search Chris Pratt and son, and you'll see tons of pictures of him with them out in public doing things at events and stuff.
I also don't think that taking your kid to a red carpet is your measure of how much you love your child.
Not at all.
And I think it's really admirable that a lot of younger couples in Hollywood are realizing it's not the best idea to shove your kid into the spotlight, including especially most recent example being Suki Waterhouse and Robert Pattinson. They have a toddler and they have spoken very openly about keeping their child away from the public eye. And it's something that they're passionate about. A lot of people say this now, like younger actors say, I would never encourage or even allow my child to work in this industry. They can think about that maybe when they're 18, if that, but they would never advise their child to follow in their footsteps. And it's because of shit that happens like this.
Chris Pratt when his son decided to be the other Chris for Halloween.
Aw, that's cute. I also saw a bunch of pictures of him wearing glasses, which I think are so cute on babies. Anyways, look, divorce is messy and sad, and I think almost everyone agrees that it shouldn't happen unless it's absolutely necessary for the safety of a family. But people have taken this and run with it like they know these people. It's honestly disturbing.
This one says, if you save my son, I will give you everything. I will give you my life. I will give you my platform. I won't be ashamed to talk to you, to talk about you, and give you. And he does save my son, and I've been trying to make good on that promise ever since. And it's about Chris Pratt talking about God saving his son, and that looks like a red carpet to me as well. So it is what it is. All right, we got another 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. He says, remember Ferris's comedy Mom ran for 8 years and got good reviews? No, I don't. Maybe that's the problem. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, let us move on then.
Martin Scorsese is under fire right now for teaming up with a generative AI startup called Black Forest. He's joining their board of advisors and gave a public statement in support of their mission, which has made him public enemy number one of not only the anti-AI crowd, but especially Gen Z, who are championing people like Curry Barker and Kane Parsons that take a different tone about AI. Here is what he said. He said, I'm interested in the intersection of technology and storytelling and seeing how that can push the bounds of creativity to create deeper and richer experiences for audiences. Cinema is a young medium, only around 125 years old, so we have to be open about how it can evolve. I utilized 3D with Hugo and de-aging technology for The Irishman. Now with this tool, I can share what I'm visualizing more clearly and efficiently to my creative team, the production designer, art designer, and cinematographer, for them to build on to enrich cinematic intelligence. And essentially everyone is saying you have betrayed your craft, you have incinerated your reputation as one of the great directors of our time, and especially you have thrown storyboard artists under the bus. And that is the tone of most of the comments on his commercial of sorts that he did for them. One said, AI does not replace him, it helps him for storyboard, but in fact, it's replacing the storyboard artist. Storyboard artist is a job too. Another one said, there is no substitute for a good storyboard artist. And another one said, he could use AI to make his own superhero film, his life's dream. I think they're saying that because he's thrown shade at superhero movies many times.
We talked about this part of it last Thursday with Libby. I pointed out that night the night before I watched Coyote Ugly, and I watched it all the way through the credits. And there was 3 storyboard artists on it. I'm like, does it take 3 storyboard artists to make a movie about a lady who moves from Jersey to become a songwriter rather than a singer? I guess it does, but they're the same concept could be said that at a certain time there's no substitute for a good hand-drawn animator. And while it's true that great hand-drawn animation will likely always look better to a lot of people than what you see now, the fact of the matter is the movie industry moved away from it and went towards something else, and these jobs are going to start to shrink. I pointed out that it seems to be the established directors who have been both commercially and critically successful, meaning that they are known both for creating art that people really, really enjoy, that does well with the critics, but also art that makes people a lot of money. So it was also James Cameron who joined on with a company like this. Ironic, given that he made Terminator.
It was a different one?
It was a different company.
Okay,
It had nothing to do with storyboarding from what I remember. But those people that have worked on these big budget sets that know just what a huge effort it is to get something made, they understand that what they're looking at isn't just art but commerce. And likely they're also being paid a very, very hefty sum to become the face of these brands to make it more socially acceptable within the industry. And because they've been very successful, like a Scorsese or a James Cameron, they're anti-fragile. It doesn't matter if people don't like them. I'm a huge fan of James Cameron because he's actually really annoying, but he never loses. So how can you hate a guy that's constantly annoying but always delivers on what he says he's going to deliver on?
I mean, I wouldn't say that the Avatar franchise is peak art,
but it's not about it being peak art. It makes a lot of money, and that's kind of the point. And whether the stories are great, that'd be the ironic part. He's like, look, mine's the same story every time. I don't need a storyboard artist. I can tell them the same story over and over.
Well, look, at least Martin Scorsese was disclosing that this is a promotional statement and that he is actually... He is admitting that he's taken a paycheck for this.
But now
whether or not he feels like he's compromising his moral values, I don't know.
But now the Art Directors Guild has responded, correct?
Yes, the Art Directors Guild, which I admittedly did not know existed, released a statement in condemnation of his promotion of Gen AI. This says, Mr. Scorsese, the business is not in flux. Oscar-winning director Martin Scorsese is turning his back on the human artists who throughout his career have helped him create his most memorable works. In the recently released Black Forest Labs video promoting their generative AI product, Flux, Mr. Scorsese asks the question, how do you communicate what you see in your head to your cast and crew? He claims the solution is the use of this generative AI program to do the jobs that are rightfully the jurisdiction of Art Directors Guild Local 800 artists and designers, human artists and designers who have been successfully collaborating with directors to visualize their films for decades. Scorsese's promotion of a generative AI product circumvents the input of Art Directors Guild Local 800 art directors, graphic artists, illustrators, production designers, scenic artists, set designers, and other talented union professionals. Generative AI is only capable of producing this type of cinematic intelligence by ingesting large swaths of copyrighted work, likely scraped from the internet without consent, credit, compensation, or transparency. The skills of Art Directors Guild artists and designers bring the highest level of value to any film or television production. To think their professional contributions can be mimicked or outshone by generative AI, which is built on work likely stolen from them and many other artists from around the world, is a betrayal of the collaborative nature of cinema. Mm-hmm. Now, I highly doubt that Scorsese is going to even respond to this statement, let alone knows that it exists. Mm-hmm. I don't think he cares at all. But I think this is illustrative of a generational difference in attitudes about AI. I think I don't remember if I said this on or off air, but I'll repeat it nonetheless. Boomers love AI. I think they're profoundly not skeptical of new technologies, be it the latest pill on the market or AI tools.
And their jobs aren't the ones getting threatened anyways, because they're retired already. Yeah.
Exactly. And it is, maybe not someone on the level of Scorsese, but definitely all of these people giving condescending, patronizing commencement speeches and getting booed by an audience of people who are having their livelihoods threatened by AI, who seem to have the least questions about it and assume that they are the experts on it, when they don't seem to understand what it even is or what it's capable of. And it does ring distasteful and very ignorant, and they're proudly, blissfully ignorant of the reality that this is going to shake many industries and already has.
I can't speak to whether Scorsese has a nuanced, opinion of AI. I would be more willing to bet that James Cameron has a more nuanced opinion of AI based on just how much he's kind of engaged with the subject matter in the past. But when you're creative at the level of those types who are making movies that cost hundreds of millions of dollars, that are not passion projects necessarily, but are something that's the product of a company worth billions of dollars, the romanticized idea of the starving artist goes out the window, and it becomes about delivering on the product you promised to a studio. And it's, everybody starts to look like a tool that you can use rather than, a human being. So it doesn't ring off to me that they would be looking for all of the tools that can be put in their belt to work on these things without really taking into account the human aspect of it, because they're looking at these large scale projects, and most of the people that are critical of AI, if it's not about job replacement, it's a romanticized idea of art and commerce together, when the true fact of the matter is most people aren't able to make a living from art.
To clarify on James Cameron, this was back in September of 2024. He joined the board of directors for Stability AI. Yep. Rather than founding a startup of his own, his role focuses on the intersection of generative AI and computer-generated imagery to develop tools that assist visual effects artists. So not really related to storyboard artists, but he joined up with the team that created Stable Diffusion and Stable Video Diffusion.
Ben Affleck started his own AI company as well, though I forget what the purpose of that one was, that got bought by Netflix. I guess the difference is when it comes down to it, the ones who are liable to produce, meaning they're physically putting their money in to produce products. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The Ben Afflecks, the James Camerons, and the Martin Scorseses, they're responsible for delivering the product. Now, the other people are responsible for putting forth, part of the art to get it done, but they're the ones whose name is on the front that says this needs to be done and it needs to make this amount of money, blah, 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 blah. They probably take a more practical approach to the creation of art these days. And that kind of coincides with what you were saying earlier about the fact that they're older and they just have a different opinion of AI that is not shared by the people who are, possibly going to be losing employment because of it.
It's like, you're right to point out that they're just kind of poster children for AI, and it's an effort to buttress the credibility for these companies to partner with people in the creative field. It's like putting, I don't even know, Sandra Bullock in an Activia yogurt commercial. You know what I mean?
Jamie Lee Curtis before. There's a 20
Jamie Lee
here.
Curtis,
There's
sure.
a 20 here from Shane H. Wilder. He says, I am fully aware you can't completely get away from AI. The background removal tool uses AI, but I would be amiss if I didn't say that I hate it being used as a replacement for people instead of a tool to aid for said people. Well, yeah, I mean, then you have to have, who was the dude recently who said that he was excited about AI because it's basically just a visual effect? I already forget which director said that and got yelled at for saying it. Yeah, it is what it is. I feel for a lot of the creatives whose industries are going to change, but it's the same issue, unfortunately, at least in my opinion, is what's going on with the Obsession creator, which is that the industry is going to do what it's going to do. And as long as you're part of an industry that might virtue signal all the time about wanting to change the world, what they really want to do is make money. And these companies are increasingly being owned by a smaller and smaller number of businesses, which means all of the wealth is consolidated, the artistic direction is gone, and they're looking to just churn out whatever they can to make money. I read a thread earlier this guy made about how Masters of the Universe is going to be okay and it's going to get sequels because it's going to be a loss leader for Amazon. It's the Costco hot dog of movies, where they're just going to use it by putting Masters of the Universe stuff on Amazon Prime just to get you in the door, right? So you can do all the other stuff. Like, as long as companies are treating $200 million movies like loss leaders, they're going to use technology like AI to make the loss leader as cheap as they can make it.
I still think that people are far too bullish on AI, and I agree with the people who say that the bubble is going to burst. Like, AI is capable of a lot, but it's definitely not capable of what people in Silicon Valley think it's capable of. And that is going to catch up to the people who are running cover for it and basically writing fan fiction about it at this point. And I also think one of the reasons why people are in fear right now is because they feel powerless to stop it. And as consumers, we feel we have no voice with our dollar. Like, you can boycott Avatar all you want, but it's still going to make $1 billion or multiple billions of dollars regardless.
Also, guess what? Like, it's not going to be Christopher Nolan using AI storyboard artists. He's going to hire like the most storyboard artist that's ever storyboarded before, because he's romantic about the movie making process and he's got the budget to do that. It's the small budget people that are going to surreptitiously use it because they can't afford to hire a storyboard artist. So they're going to look for cheap alternatives to put it into play. Not to mention the Amazons and the MGMs that are going to use it for their loss leader He-Man movies.
It feels like we've been reduced to like schoolyard taunting at this point. I just saw this comment from Anthony Starr from The Boys about AI. He said, AI is coming no matter what, blah, blah, blah. Recent movies have proven that people want human stories, not big, ridiculous, VFX-driven nonsense. Ever tried to go to an AI movie premiere? The cast are horrible and they hate their human fans.
Yeah, that doesn't stop the storyboard artist from losing his job to a program, though, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's probably going to come for those types of jobs before it comes for, Anthony Starr's job.
It's not coming for his job. It's not coming for his job in the same way. I feel the same way, honestly, about AI music, because there's a lot of AI music that I actually like, but I do so understanding that there's a limit to the humanity that I can experience, to the human experience that can be felt from AI music, because it's creating something artificial, and it's almost like the musical version of the Uncanny Valley, where it's like, it hits, but it doesn't hit the same way as real music made by a real person. Anthony Starr is going to get tons of work. He's still going to be employed. But Anthony Starr's buddy, the storyboard artist, is going to be begging for change on the street. And that's because you're part of an industry that has lied about their motives for the last several decades. We want to change the world. We just want to tell great stories. Well, if that was true, then Disney would have stood by what they said they wanted to do by changing the world with progressive stories and continued to do that. No, they changed course, they cut back, and they're working their way back to center because they don't care about the type of stories they're telling. They just want those stories to make money.
To draw that generational distinction that I mentioned earlier, I want to share Kane Parsons' recent comments about AI. In contrast to Grandpa Scorsese, here's what he had to say about AI in filmmaking during a recent interview with The Australian. He said that he was in the same boat as the most well-adjusted people and does not want to see the technology take over Hollywood. If I could snap my fingers and make generative AI disappear forever, I probably would. Creatively, I get no enjoyment from using those tools. It defeats the purpose entirely for me. Now, you can say that maybe that's virtue signaling, but I don't see it coming from him as a virtue signal, because you can tell by reading about his like earlier years, like creatively, when he was not a known quantity yet. He was teaching himself skills constantly, trying new tools constantly, and taught himself everything that he knows. AI would be no exception, but clearly he's an organically creative person who has his own original ideas, and AI to him seems useless. I think it definitely is people outside of the creative field who feel more bullish on it.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I think it doesn't appeal naturally to creative people.
Yes, absolutely.
And he also said he sees a future where AI could make some visual effects tasks less laborious, but added that right now it's difficult to discuss objectively because there's so much at stake and so many genuinely harmful consequences already happening. What interests me more is interrogating it artistically. We already live in a world where you walk outside and there are billboards and signs that are obvious AI slop. That's become part of our visual reality. To me, generative AI feels less like innovation than a symptom of a broader cultural and economic rot.
I'm not gonna lie. Last night on IRL, there was like, they were showing like Carmelo Anthony, like riots, or like Carmelo Anthony like protesters, and there was like definitely an AI sign, like a sign that was definitely made and then printed. That was definitely made AI, because I recognized the typeface and the font. But you know what? In honor of Kane Parsons and them, instead of like using your phone to film a skate trick and do ramped slow motion, I'm actually going to then put the clip at, I'm going to film it regular at 60 frames a second. Then I'm going to put it into my computer. I'm going to put it into After Effects. I'm going to do ramped slow motion in After Effects or Twixtor, upload it back to my phone so that I can upload the clip to the internet, just to be authentic, just because I don't want the person who created Adobe After Effects to go out of a job. I want those people to always have work. So I'm not going to use the slow motion that's built into the phone clip. I'm going to film it on my phone and then use a third-party program just because of the artistic nature of it.
By the way, he was asked if he's interested in directing a future Star Wars film. Not meaning that he was asked by Disney, to be clear.
Yeah.
It was an interview question, and he immediately said no.
Don't blame him.
But it is easy for him to say that when he hasn't actually had the offer across his desk. And he also, I don't know if this is a real quote, but I don't even care at this point. On a sequel to Backrooms, he imagines the government tries to end America's homelessness crisis by letting all of the homeless people live in the back rooms. And it actually works out really, really well. The tone will be a lot more uplifting than the first one. Yeah,
that's perfect. They're all there.
Now that doesn't sound dystopian at all to me.
So now, you know what somebody should do now?
Incredible solution.
Somebody should create, like I was saying earlier, like in honor of Kane Parsons, what they should do, they should make a skit series where like you're about to use AI and he just shows up to stop you and everything. Like he could hire Curry Barker to work on that with him, because Curry Barker does comedy. Whereas like no. Or no, it's like Michael Jackson pushing the gun down. You're about to use generative AI and he just kind of
use humor as your weapon against this stuff.
All right, let's move on. What would you like to see, the cringe or the cute?
Let's see the cringe first. I'll be totally honest. This isn't really cringe. It's just funny, and I just wanted to show everybody.
Okay.
Especially you, Brett.
All right, give me a sec here. I'm behind on the cute of the day. All right, there we are. All right, cringe. Here we go. It says, if you're listening to this, she writes her own lyrics. Sure, we can tell. And then on the screen it says Taylor Swift lyrics.
You rode into my life on a horse. I was the horse.
You're a tornado. I'm a tornado catcher.
You drove into my life in a car. I was the car, yeah.
Wait. Life's like a fork. Funny when you look at it.
Our love was a school. You were the principal.
You are sick. I'm just the bedpan.
Our love is a game of chess. You are the bishop going diagonally. I am the knight going L shape.
You came into my life like a horse. Turns out it was a Trojan horse.
Turns out it was a Trojan horse. And I was inside the Trojan horse.
Oh, then you Trojan horse my life again.
She should do like a Weird Al satire. She should, like, Taylor Swift should do a satire of her own songs.
She doesn't have enough of a sense of humor to do it, though.
It's like have you ever, like, got the song, Got My Mind Set on You? And, like, Weird Al, it's like, got my mind set on. There's a Weird Al song called This Song Is Just 6 Words Long. And he just says the same thing over and over again. That was brilliant. All right, let's move on.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, is there more? Okay, it
There's
continues.
more.
And it's called Trojan horse.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a second Trojan horse.
Who's inside the love army?
Then we went to school. Everyone was cool. You made a mess. I was the janitor.
Then we went to school. Everyone was cool. You made a mess.
I was the janitor.
The janitor.
Then we went to school. Everyone was cool.
You made a mess. I was the janitor.
I was the janitor.
You made a mess. I was the janitor.
I was the
You wrote it.
janitor.
That, you know what? I get vibes of a couple that live in, like, they live in, like, uptown in Minnesota. Like, it just looks like two people having fun in their apartment building. I love that. That was amazing.
They're like the first Icelandic people I've found.
Yeah. that is very true. He does look like his name would be Jurgen. Yeah. There's a 20 here from Easy E. Like, he looks like one of the Iceland players in Mighty Ducks 2. All right, Easy E says, boomers spent decades mechanizing and automating the human roles in labor to the point where unions require workers to behave like machines. Of course they love AI. They don't have to negotiate with people to get something.
It's an interesting observation. I mean, I chalked it up to boomer laziness because it sounds like the ultimate solution to their problem, which is that they don't like working.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and for the cute of the day, we have a couple here. I wanted to get to this one because it was sent in the winter. This one is from Hyperstatic. It says, Archie in her first snow. So it's her first time in the snow.
You wish that was you right now. Because it's like 80 degrees in that room.
I have a fan here. And then Olivia got a fan for over there just because some days it's hot. Like, the air was never even that great in here. Like, kept it at bay.
Oh, no. It was always pretty bad.
So I just took Olivia's fan. Now I've got 2 fans on me right now. So, and then one more here from Chancellor Young.
Aww.
Very cute. Those are blue eyes. I can't tell if the eyes are blue or if it's because of the...
I love blue eyes on a cat, though. Very unique.
Very cute.
Striking feature.
All right. Let's move on then. We've got more stuff to get into. Let's get started.
Yeah, let me just say this in plain English so there is absolutely no room for confusion. Ariana Grande is quickly shrinking, almost vanishing, and her fans are continuously gaslighting the public about that fact. However, I have noticed more recently, as she has returned to the stage on tour, some of her fans are finally willing to admit that there might be a problem here behind the scenes. So this one fan posted a video of her from her tour. I believe this was the opening show. captioned it, I really wanted to go into this tour loving everything, but she just looks so concerning. I am genuinely appalled.
Stop body shaming.
I really hope she is okay.
Stop body shaming.
Exactly.
Body shaming.
Commenting on a woman's body, though, that's a choice.
That's a patriarchal act to try and take ownership of a woman's body that you have no right to. Stop it.
No, honestly, okay, play the video here. I don't think this is the peak of concerning imagery from this show so far. But honestly, you can tell that there is something off just based on these bones that are protruding from her shoulders. It's perfectly normal to have visible collarbones, but not up to your shoulder where they're poking out like that. That is concerning, to say the least. But there are further images and videos I saw that are even more concerning. So one of the fans replied to this saying, since no one else is going to say it, she's literally a normal weight right now. You people have never seen a petite woman in your entire lives.
This is not...
Go outside and stop bashing this poor girl.
This is not, like, edited?
No, not to my knowledge, at least. This is it looks to be a screenshot from one of her performance videos.
Okay.
And yeah, she's sort of contorted in a weird way, but no one should look like that no matter what they're doing on stage. That's not normal. You can see her entire rib cage right there.
Yep.
And very little muscle mass over her arms. It's kind of scary.
Kind of looks like the non-ripped version of Skeletor from Masters of the Universe, because he had like the way they had the muscle bodysuit where it looks like all the skin's been removed. That's what it's looking like here.
Now, you said you were under the impression she had gained weight since Wicked, but from what I can tell, if it were even possible, she's only lost more.
Yeah, I was, I mean, I say that like because in passing, I thought I saw somebody post a photo that said it looks like she was gaining the weight back. But again, that was in passing, and that was just after the Wicked press tour for the second Wicked movie.
It appears in this next video that she is not really able to perform with the same level of passion or, joie de vivre that she used to. She's just kind of like half-heartedly bopping around on stage, which is not normally what you would see from her throughout her music career. She's a dancer as well as a singer. It takes a lot of skill.
I mean, that dress
to be able
isn't
to
made for
belt the way that she does while dancing.
That dress is not made for dancing. It could be specific to this performance. I don't know if that's a fair critique in the context of this one solo clip. She's not dressed for like a choreography dance move right there.
Well, this caption says, why was she so afraid of dancing her ass off? She seemed hesitant. Glinda really did a number on Ariana because she lost some of her sauce.
Well, how long has it been since she was on tour before?
Gosh, throughout the entire production of Wicked, basically.
I mean, it's got to be possible also that you don't just pick back up where you left off. You have to go back to rehearsals and get back into shape for it. Like, it's not something you just start again.
Right, but you would assume that she just goes through sort of a performance boot camp before touring like every other pop star does. Another fan said, why was she afraid of dancing? She doesn't have any energy because she's sick and needs help. We need to stop pretending like Hollywood doesn't have a massive, dangerous problem right now. They're all withering away, and dismissing it as body shaming isn't helping.
I'm sorry, but before we get to that, there was a good comment that I meant to bring up. Yeah, those are like 6-inch stiletto heels she's wearing.
Oh yeah, that
she
would
ain't
be
dancing in those.
Incredibly hard to dance in.
Like those are not the shoes to be dancing in.
Because you can always see like the boots that Taylor Swift wears on stage have like this very stable like block heel. They're very easy to move in. She also wears like leotards and things that are easy to move in. She's not wearing that type of thing on stage, as you can see. But
she's wearing the heels.
There's another
there
ankle. You can see every bone in her back, and it's just like if you compare her to past performances, like this next post has a side-by-side comparison. I think this is probably satire, but they said she never changed. Edgy Arianators can take a seat. But you can clearly see there has been a noticeable change in her body mass index.
She looks like she's being pulled up into the
photo.
rapture in that second photo.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's giving like possessed in the second photo. But you know, am I like making things up here? Like, I feel like I can genuinely see a massive difference between the first and second still here in the same position. There's she doesn't have tits anymore. Like, those are just gone.
Yeah.
Nothing in her arms. The arms are little toothpicks now. She was skinny before, and nobody thought that that was weird or commented on it, really.
Yeah.
And she also has been vegan for a very long time, and it never resulted in her being underweight, which she clearly is now.
Yeah.
Another person posted a behind-the-scenes video of her from backstage on this tour, where she is at her vanity and putting on her makeup, and you can see on the desk that she has her sugar-free gum and an iced black coffee. And they think this is another sign that she is not eating real food to fuel her body.
I don't know how you do, like, I'll do, like, there have been days, and I'm not even kidding you, where, like, I don't remember which day it was, but we were, like, I was live, and I was, like, gonna do another 30 minutes, and I was just too freaking hungry. It was, like, the end of the day, and I was like, I have to eat. Like I literally went back, ate something, I'm like, oh, I could have come right back here and just gone back to being live, but didn't. Like, you need to eat real food, and that's just sitting here talking into a microphone.
Right.
Like,
right.
doing that on stage with no food in your system is bonkers.
Now, people are just going to the most extreme lengths to rationalize this in their minds. One person responded with a screenshot of her like Snapchat story from years ago. Apparently, she's been chewing this specific brand of gum for years.
Because it's aspartame free.
It's aspartame free, which means it's good for singing. You can't have aspartame if you're preparing your vocal cords.
So
but
no White Monster energy drinks.
still, it's like, I'm just like, don't you think you're grasping for straws a little bit there? I don't know. And then, of course,
I'm going to eat on her behalf if we're not careful.
People are just trying their hardest to deny reality, and it's kind of delusional. Now, look, I don't really particularly care one way or the other whether Ariana Grande, a grown adult woman, has an eating disorder. That's her and her friends and family and employees' business more than it is any of our business. But I wouldn't deny reality and say she looks healthy either.
I would agree. Like I said, it's so there's two, like, I guess there's kind of two schools of thought there, right? Like, is it our business? No. Is it, you know, normal to comment on a celebrity when they look concerning? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and what she's doing is in the public eye. Of course, people are going to notice and comment on her appearance. And those horrible stills from Wicked are also making the rounds again. But here's the ironic part of it all. I think, much like Taylor Swift did, she is probably going to talk about this openly in the next several years, because you can't keep up this behavior into your 30s and 40s without it having drastic consequences for your appearance and health. You can get away with self-destructive habits very easily in your 20s and even your early 30s. But once you get up there in age, it really takes a much greater toll. And it's much more noticeable on the surface level, what you're doing to yourself. So you can only get away with it for so long and remain at the top of your game. So Taylor Swift, in, I think, 2020, released her documentary, Miss Americana. And a huge point of that storyline that they created for the documentary was her recovery from an eating disorder that she had never talked about before. And she was finally ready to share that with the public, since it was behind her at that point. And I mean, look, Taylor Swift has always been a very tall, slender, skinny woman, and she still is to this day. But you can tell when you compare photos of her from the 2000s and early 2010s compared to now, she has gained some weight. And she does credit recovery from an eating disorder for that. And I think Ariana Grande is probably going to do the same thing. She's going to like make a documentary or have a memoir ghost written for her or something about how she had an eating disorder, and she'll recover from it, and everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, we had no idea, there were no signs, when she looked like this the entire time.
Yeah.
No one is like, she's not being helped by you like denying reality. Like, I wouldn't say commenting on how unhealthy she looks is healthy for her either, but no one is doing some sort of service to Ariana Grande by going into people's replies and saying that she is a healthy weight when everyone can see that that is clearly not true.
What a person does when they weigh 100 pounds even and drink and eat nothing but aspartame-free gum is their own business, okay? Leave them alone. She probably weighs like 80 pounds.
I mean, yeah, she's, I believe, 5'1" and looks to be definitely like under 95 pounds.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I guess you never know because everybody is different, but yeah, there is no way that she is clinically not underweight right now. Yep. There's no way that's possible.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the lost art of set design, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we have complained to no end on this channel about the downfall of color grading and lighting in cinema and television. But there is another aspect to this that we haven't discussed yet. And I didn't even realize it until I saw this tweet the other day. It says, one thing that irks me about modern cinema is that everyone looks like they live in an Airbnb or hotel. None of that shit feels like a lived-in home, but throw on the most random 90s movie and you won't have any doubt that character has spent most of their life in that apartment. And they're asking in this reply, where is the mess? It's a good point. And there are several examples that were cited by Jason Pargin in a video where he elaborated on this point. So the first is heated rivalry. Let's just watch this video first.
This one here? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to watch the whole thing? It's 3 minutes long.
I think it's worth watching the whole thing, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
This right here, this is a screenshot from the show Heated Rivalry. You can also see it in this shot right here.
It's just empty.
And it's not something that just this show does. In fact, here's a random screenshot from another show. This one's on Apple TV. Here's another good example. The thing I'm pointing out is something this person expresses very well on Twitter, saying, one thing that irks me about modern cinema or TV is that everyone looks like they live in an Airbnb or a hotel. None of that feels like a lived-in home, but throw on the most random 90s movie and you won't have any doubt that a character has spent most of their life in that apartment. So this is kind of similar to something I pointed out in another video about how clothing in movies and modern shows looks brand new.
Yeah, it looks. That was one of the earliest complaints about The Witcher. Was like the costumes all looked like you could still see the fold creases coming out of the packaging.
And Rings of Power.
Yep.
Like this is from the most recent season of Stranger Things, and this person is like out in the woods, but what they're wearing looks like a costume from a box, not clothes that came out of their closet. But the thing with people's houses looking like vacant Airbnbs always jumps out at me. This is from the show Shrinking on Apple TV. Here's another shot from the same show, and to me, this looks like something that was staged for like a real estate open house. And this has to be an aesthetic choice. It's not a budget thing. Some of the shows I just pointed out have enormous budgets. This is Beef on Netflix. And the clean, empty countertops thing has to be an intentional aesthetic choice they're making. And it feels inauthentic to me because if humans spend time in a space, their surfaces are going to accumulate objects. Here, this is the shelf behind my green screen. I'm a fairly neat person, but junk accumulates. But even when these shows try to convey a mess or clutter, it's often just a carefully arranged soda can and a single magazine.
It's literally symmetrical between the two of
right.
them.
Next to another single soda can and a magazine.
Why are their pants the exact same color as the fucking couch?
They look like they're part of the couch.
And if you're gonna say that movies and shows have always looked like this, do what that tweet said and throw on an old romantic comedy from the 90s. I think this is You've Got Mail. or an older show, I think this is Gilmore Girls. And in fact, if a young person watched anything from the 80s, I think that's what would stand out to them, how messy everything is. That's one reason the sterile sets stand out to me, because I grew up with this. And I am not saying these shows are bad. I mean, I love the show Pluribus. But that kitchen and that sink and that counter do not look like she has been cooking meals there every day for years. And if you think I'm just cherry picking examples, try this. Go watch the original Malcolm in the Middle, which had one of the great all-time chaotic sitcom sets. And then go watch the reboot that just came out on Hulu. I've seen people say that it looks like one of those Super Bowl commercials where they get the cast back together, but it just kind of looks like an ad and not the original show. But can anybody out there tell me why?
So his theory is that this is an intentional aesthetic choice by set designers, but I'm not sure I would agree with that take. It seems like it's actually just absent-mindedness and a lack of care for immersion in more recent projects from Hollywood. And they don't give the same level of thought and dedication to the details anymore.
So I gave the example to you when we were off air that I was watching this thing on the making of the show Ghost Whisperer with Jennifer Love Hewitt. And in the show, she runs like an antique shop. And one of the attractive qualities of her running an antique shop is that they could switch up what the shop looked like every episode or so, because theoretically, like, stuff gets moved around in a naturally chaotic environment like that, because antique shops are kind of haphazardly put together. Go to any thrift store as well. Certainly the shelves look the same, but they're filled with different stuff all the time. Every time we go, me and Olivia go to thrift stores, most of them look pretty different, especially like if you're in the electronics section. It looks vastly different from one day to the next, and that's an attractive thing for like a set designer who wants to make the scene pop, you know, depending on the episode.
Do you think this has something to do with cutting corners on the budget? Because they're still filming in expensive locations. Like, this is a penthouse apartment that he showed in one of those shows, and mansions. It doesn't seem to be related to spending less money on set design either.
I always wondered if maybe that's something to do with continuity errors. Like, they didn't want it to look one way in one part of the scene, and then like obviously few people are going to notice something like that, but that's stuff I love. Like, oh, what's the baseball glove? Why is the baseball glove on the bed now, huh? Because it wasn't on the bed before, you know.
Right.
Like,
and people responded to that tweet with so many like iconic examples of really well done set design. He did mention You've Got Mail, and there are several examples from that one.
Look, I don't even know, like, it's not like this is a clean room. Yeah. Aesthetically, it's just different, okay?
Yes.
There's a doily on the frickin' the vanity back there. There's still, like, lights on opposite end. There's still some uniformity there. This looks like a desk would look.
Right.
Like, it's more just the clutter in the back area here, because we used to decorate rooms. Kitchens these days do not look like kitchens did in the 80s, in the real world too. Okay? Like, not, right. I'm not saying everybody has like a super clean kitchen.
The best defense of this new trend in set design, or rather the lack of set design, is because it actually does reflect how people's homes look now compared to before. People do opt for minimalism in their homes in real life nowadays. And unfortunately, I wish that we could revert back to a little bit more maximalism and personalizing our belongings. It also has to do with the fact that, you know, this device, this phone in my hands holds so many things that used to be in a home. Like, there would be a landline and a calendar on the wall, and you know, maybe I would have a typewriter to type out whatever I'm working on, and maybe I would also have a camera, and I would have a bunch of physical photographs that I took on the wall, and you know, there are so many things that are contained in this phone that would otherwise be strewn about my living space.
Yep.
But instead it's in this one tiny box.
So
it does reflect how people's lives look now, which is empty.
There's
that's
a
being shown to us.
20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. He says, I disagree with his interpretation of Pluribus. The character of Carol is a bit of a neat freak, and I think the set dressing of her house is totally appropriate to the character.
Well, it would be one thing if it were tailored to the story and it feels appropriate for the character to live in a minimalist space. But I even think of Frasier's apartment. It's so special to me. Like, I just love it so much. And credit where it's due, I looked at stills from the Frasier reboot as well, and it seemed to be well designed. But he lives in basically, at the time, what would have been a minimalist interior decorated apartment, and still there's just a lot of texture, and it looks like you can tell by his character and you know, the actual story, it feels appropriate that he intentionally designed every detail in his apartment. It just doesn't feel like it's specifically for characters who are neat freaks, though, that they're doing this. Another more somewhat recent example, I guess Lady Bird came out in 2018.
Okay.
This is her bedroom in the movie, and this is, I mean, I guess my childhood bedrooms didn't look quite this cluttered, but similar enough.
Mine was.
Color on the wall, you know?
Mine was literally every inch of my of all four walls in my bedroom were pictures from skate magazines, you know, from like a traditional magazine placed next to each other with no gap in between, and it took up every wall. It was probably 30, 40, 50 skate magazines worth of photos. So my room was absolutely a disaster zone.
And part of the reason why people opt for minimalist design, I think, is because we just feel so overwhelmed by all of the sensory input that we have from the internet and from media, that we want our homes to sort of feel like some sort of escape from that. This is from Gilmore Girls.
Again,
I mean,
the clutter in this is literally
wheelhouse.
flowers. The clutter in this is flowers and plants.
It's not exactly clutter, though, right? They're not really they're not hoping that there's more clutter in a scene. It just needs to feel like an actual place.
Okay, so
you know?
not
a liminal like back rooms.
So you've got pictures on the walls that have frames.
Yeah.
You've got like the air conditioner or the heating unit here that actually sticks out. It's not an electronic display. You've got two-tone wallpaper with you know, like actual work done on the wall here like that. You can't really see it from this one, but the dresser on the side there looks as if the paint has chipped and faded away, giving it depth to the scene.
Whereas now, what would it be? I guess a brand new, like, cheap IKEA facade of a piece of furniture.
Well, yeah.
Everything in here looks old.
Yeah.
And then there is another more recent example of what people believe to be set design done right in The Batman. This is Selena Kyle and Annika's apartment. And this looks like, you know, a real place where someone lives, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's still, we have the technology. We can do this. But then you have other examples from the drama that was this year, compared to Before Sunset from 2004. In the drama, I mean, this couple lives in an Airbnb. Like, even the throw pillow next to Zendaya in that shot just looks like it would be in a hotel lobby. I don't think anyone would genuinely see that and like buy it and put it in their home because they like it. Whereas this example, this feels real. There are so many books
You know what my personal favorite set design is? Convenience store set designs. Every shelf is filled to the brim with products, and they're all face backwards because they don't have, like, they don't want to give either free press to the product or whatever. Look at any movie or television show where they go into a convenience store, and there's a statistically improbable amount of stuff on the shelves.
He was right to point out the same trend happening in costume design as well. I feel like characters in new shows don't wear interesting outfits because it's not seen as like realistic. But I mean, I loved a lot of the outfits that were like wacky and weird that you would never see in real life on like characters on Disney Channel, you know? Like it adds to the story of the character. It doesn't matter if it's realistic or not.
Yeah.
And they have like handbags in new projects that are like clearly empty and brand new, just unwrapped. And it reminds me of all of the same things that people say about lighting and color grading. It's probably a more like trending topic, but relevant nonetheless. And it's like turned into this meme where people are like, where are the gaffers? We need gaffers. Log off of Grindr. Get to gaffing. Okay? This is a job that still matters. And ironically, it cannot be replaced by AI. Yeah, trying to watch a movie, but the producers decided it was really important to the plot to set the exposure at negative 300,000. Like even closing your shades doesn't help at that point. There's nothing that can salvage that.
Yeah. You know,
and it's in The Devil Wears Prada, it's in the new Harry Potter show. It's in literally everything now. Everything just looks so damn depressing and anti-human.
I agree.
And the set design is just one example of many.
Yeah. Everything looks like a commercial now.
But what do you agree with Jason Parkin's take that this is an intentional choice?
I think the difference is the people who were designing sets back then lived in a world where there was more visual clutter. Therefore, they designed sets that had more visual clutter. And now these people are living in condos in LA, and everything's modernized. Everything's metallic. You've got your stainless steel appliances and your granite countertops. Everything looks the same. Another thing that could be done for it, when I remember trying to watch the show Citadel, and there was this very clearly CGI Grubhub ad, where they CGI'd in a logo on the countertop that had to be clearly visible. If it was a cluttered countertop, you wouldn't have been able to see it. So instead, it was like prominently placed right there.
That's another lost art, is like
Product placement.
Expert product placement.
I'll show you my favorite someday from the show The Glades, where they did like an M&M's product placement, and this forensic scientist reseals a bag of M&M's like this, and it's the greatest, most blatant piece of product, because he just continues to hold it, and the shot stays on him, and I'm just like, you know what? Respect. Get your money, kings. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the OnlyFans hiker.
Yes. An OnlyFans model named Cameron Renee Kirkham has embarked on a highly controversial solo hiking trip across the Pacific Crest Trail, the PCT. It's notoriously difficult, especially for someone who has admittedly done zero research or preparation beforehand. And she started sharing vlogs of her hiking trip on Instagram to uproarious applause from feminists who think she is breaking new ground and proving that bimbos can climb.
She's breaking, she's breaking the dirt ceiling.
Exactly.
On the hiking trail.
So this idea came to Cameron in the middle of a shroom trip after she was inspired by Reese Witherspoon's role in the movie Wild. It's adapted from a true story. And she must have gotten her neural pathways a little bit mixed up because she thought that it was a spin-off of Legally Blonde. And she decided to LARP as Elle Woods on the PCT and just try her hand at hiking without looking into safety protocols or equipment.
Why would you bother?
And she cares more about that she cares more about coordinating her outfits and her makeup and her skincare routine and her nail polish than making sure she doesn't die on the trail. And it, of course, resulted in a medical emergency where she recently had to be airlifted to a hospital. Anyways, we'll get to that in a second. She announced to her followers that she was starting an outdoor quest to solo hike the PCT, and critics were quick to roll their eyes and declare the 6-month journey just another attempt to rage bait and drive subscriptions to her explicit adult content. And to be clear, she is continuing to make X-rated content while she is on the hike. She is taking nudes and posting them on OF for her simps while she is on the trail. So that is how she is funding this journey.
We have a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. Says, Mary, correct about the phone replacing physical objects. Phone, pager, address book, calendar, notepad, alarm clock, answering machine, flashlight, still camera, photo album, calculator, watch, daybook, organizer, radio, desk clock. See, there's a great comedic bit where a guy just keeps pulling this stuff out of the cargo pockets of his shorts.
Exactly. Yeah. A review of her OnlyFans content confirms that she is posting nude photos and scantily clad images of herself on the hiking trail and inside her tent for her paying OnlyFans devotees, who she charges $9.99 a month. But the trip took a harrowing turn when she needed to be airlifted by a helicopter last month to a nearby hospital after failing to summit Mount Whitney, the highest point in California's Sierra Nevada mountains, with an elevation of over 14,500 feet. So this is because she drank from a toxic water source and I believe contracted norovirus. And she was going to probably die on the trail had a group of other hikers not come across her on the mountainside and called in a search and rescue team for her. And they, of course, made sure to mention this costs taxpayers money in order to transport her to a local hospital. Professionals estimate that the cost to the public could have been up to $20,000, if not somewhere in between $20,000 and $50,000 for taxpayers. So that's great. And I just want to show you one of her vlogs from before this emergency took place, because she is narrating her journey in this incredibly put on baby voice. They call it her like coquettish character that she plays. And she is really trying to make people think that she is stupid in order to rage bait them into engaging with her content. And you can tell by the way she presents this video.
The top comments, one of the top comments says, post a month behind your schedule so people don't know where you are on the trail, by the way.
Yeah, everyone was saying, like, someone is going to try to find you and kill you if you are actually posting this in real time. And I mean, maybe reading into it too much, but listening to her voiceover.
Thank you.
Is that a third one?
Yeah, there was 20 gifted memberships, which counts as a crisis party.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
I was listening to her voiceovers in a lot of these vlogs. It sounds like, based on the acoustics, that she's not outdoors or in a tent. So I don't know where she is currently or how she's planning out all of this content, but let's watch this vlog.
From Mexico to Canada vlog.
Okay, so I woke up in my tent. It was a very nice morning, very sunny. I put on my outfit. I brushed my hair, which that was actually my second time brushing my hair in the past 3 years. So, but yeah, since I started living in a tent, I decided I actually needed a hairbrush. Oh yeah, that was my cactus injury, a little update. It's doing much better. Okay, so now I'm packing my bag. I'm like shaking out all of my stuff, and putting my tent down. I really messed up my stakes, and so now I just have to use like rocks. I have like 2 functional stakes at the moment, so I need to get more of those. Anyway, so my goal is to hike 20 miles today, but that really did not go to plan. I did not really research the PCT really at all. So my goals every day is kind of just to like do my best. And like
My goal every day is to do my best.
I try my hardest, you know, which honestly it works out. And then I put on my backpack, and then I
wonder if she tried to get, what are those? Are those just called like walking sticks? What are those called? I'm surprised those weren't pink too.
Yeah. She
Jumped over a
coordinated everything.
Wow. Okay, now I'm climbing.
And of course, you can see
This,
she
honestly,
is angling
this day,
these
okay, so
shots
normally I hike around 20 miles.
strategically.
This day I could only
And I wonder
do
how much it delays her on her journey to continue going back for her phone and tripod over and over again, because she's trying to get as many videos of her ass as she can.
Yes. Oh boy.
because it was just the terrain was so rocky and sandy that it was just hard to go anywhere, and also there wasn't really a trail you were following. You were just kind of following the creek until you could like find the trail to get off of it. Anyways, then I took a little break and I ate some mango because I was hungry. And then I kept walking and I kept going, and I like walked through this creek so many times. Like I did that like 20 times. Then I put mango in my pocket.
It looks like it's gonna rain.
I started eating it. Oh, and then there was a storm. Like I realized I was hiking into a storm, and I was like, "Oh God!" But like you can't like stop. You just have to go through it, you know. And then it actually started hailing, and I was like, "What? Why is it hailing right now?" But like I just kept going, you know, because what else am I supposed to do? And then the hailing stopped, which is really nice. So I decided to stop and get some water. Then I found the trail. But then I realized the trail was like in really bad condition. It seemed like there had been a storm. So yeah, but then, yeah, there was like maybe like a mile or so that it was like easy to actually travel on. Anyway, so then eventually around like 5:30, it started snowing. So then I was like, okay, I need to go sleep for the day. Then I read my book. Oh my God, why is it ending so quickly?
Okay.
So, of course, she leaves all of these videos on a similar cliffhanger because everyone watching is like, okay, is she gonna die? And it turns out, yes, she did almost die,
She
but
sounded
it's worth it
more-
for the cloud.
Yes, she sounded more scared as the video went on.
Yeah, and of course, she's not narrating it in real
No,
time.
I know, but like it, like
Hopefully, this is like a month ago, and she posts it way later so that none of her weird stalkers can like follow her on the trail and try to kill her.
I saw a tweet I saw a post or a super chat on our page that is echoed by other people in the comment that asked the question, how does she keep her phone charged?
I wondered the same thing. I don't know, actually. They're more interested in asking her about her glam. Yes. She did get a significant amount of media attention for this vlog series. Interview magazine asked her about her glam routine on her hikes and her skincare products that she brings with her. And she also did an interview with a publication called Outside. And they asked her about what is the message behind all of this. They said on April 5th, after she had finished hiking her first 109 miles, she posted a video where she painted the nails of her dirty toes pink, explained the beauty of trail magic, talked about her makeup, and pranced around. She did also in a coquettish voice, all in clothes more associated with shopping malls than trail towns. The internet bit. In the last 2 weeks of April alone, she gained 33,000 more Instagram followers, a pace that would put her around 600,000 by the time that she reaches Canada. Interview magazine called her the princess of the PCT. Her posts were not only unexpected, funny, stylish, and sexy, but they also sparked conversations about what it meant to be prepared or unprepared for such an adventure, and what it means to be outdoors as a single woman wearing pink, trying to look cute because you like it. In the comments, some men have accused her of faking the effort. Others have levied the fact that she makes money through OnlyFans as evidence that she shouldn't be taken seriously. Her hike is an unintended referendum on what society thinks women should get away with outside, how we expect them to show up to spaces stereotypically associated with grit, tenacity, and masculinity. Why can't you wear pink, pose nude, and hike for real? She says it just shows how men don't take women and femininity seriously. They don't think women can just go and do something. Men are very insecure and can't handle the fact that a girl can be cute and feminine and go do stuff that's hard in the woods.
I think that if this was a dude and he was completely unprepared and he was like, I'm gonna hike the trail, people would make fun of him, albeit for different reasons, and it would be different people doing so. There's a natural inclination to think less of a person who doesn't seem to take the dangers of nature seriously.
She's acting like people merely assumed that she was unprepared based on her appearance alone. When in that video that we just showed, she admits that she did basically zero research before starting this hike. And by the way, shame on her mother, who is the one that dropped her off in Southern California to start this hike on her 22nd birthday, because you are basically signing her death warrant at that point. It was pure luck that people found her throwing up on the mountainside and got a search and rescue team to save her life. Yeah. Because otherwise she would have legitimately just died all alone on the trail, because she didn't plan any of this out. And it's based on her own words that people are saying that. They're not just saying, oh, well, she's young and blonde and has pink nail polish, so she must be inexperienced and unprepared as a hiker. They're taking her at her word when she says that she is unprepared for this hike.
Yes. And
just kind of winging it and hoping for the best. And her goal is just to do her best instead of staying alive.
Well,
and her goal also is, of course, to wear cute outfits instead of something that's functional. Mm-hmm. That could lead to you freezing to death.
She's lucky she wasn't one of those women that was hiking with a boyfriend and then he left her behind because she was so slow.
You know, I feel like that's why a lot of women are defending this behavior in her comments, because they see this as the ultimate reproach of hiking, alpine divorce.
Yeah.
And all of these men that are ditching their girlfriends and wives on hiking trails. Yeah. She's proving that you can be a bimbo and do it all by yourself, except when you need a team of men to save you.
Yes.
And airlift you off of the mountain. That's kind of disproving her point, I would say.
Yeah, the only way it could have been worse is if we were getting get ready with me videos with makeup in the mirror, but you can't do that with this, so.
Well, she is kind of doing that. She is doing get ready with me
I know,
style
but it's
content.
I hate the ones where they're putting makeup on and talking. I really hate those ones. Old Fox in the chat asks, what is alpine divorce? Do you want to give a quick recap on what alpine divorce is?
Yeah, we covered this somewhat recently on the channel, but it's a phenomenon well documented by several TikTokers where you go on a hike with your male counterpart, be it your boyfriend, fiance, or husband. He gets distracted or has different goals for the hike than the woman that he is accompanied by, and decides to either walk way ahead of her or straight up abandon her on the trail, thereby endangering her life. So women were documenting their experiences of alpine divorce, being the hike is what ends the relationship, hopefully.
You know what else this reminds me of? That Carolyn lady. Like, there's this branch of female satire that is really, really popular and awesome, where she's like, come with me working for a day at Northrop Grumman. And it's like, so should we like drop the bombs on the kids, or should we like drop the bombs on the Ayatollahs? And it's satirizing the life of a woman at like a weapons manufacturer. It feels like what you're watching is satire of a hiker, but it's not satire. It's something in between.
Well, look, you can pretend to be some sort of caricature of a bimbo and do that satire content all you want, but then don't get mad at people who assume that you're dumb because you're playing dumb. Mm-hmm. And also putting on this bizarre baby voice. They ask her about that in the interview with Outside, and she says it's actually not a fake voice. And it's just because when she gets excited, her voice gets higher. They said, I asked Renee about the baby voice at one point, and she seemed so strong-willed in conversation, not like the young flirt cooing through videos. She didn't think her tones were binary, just as she'd said 2 years earlier when she announced that she was starting an OnlyFans. She said, when I'm talking about my outfit or whatever, my voice tends to get higher. I like to keep them lighthearted because that's how many days are. But I can also be this way. Her voice drops to emphasize her seriousness. I'm just letting different parts of myself exist. Both are real.
Okay. I can't.
It's just like, you can do your satire content and all of that. That's fine, I guess. Die if you want. But you can't also then go and lecture men for underestimating you and not taking you seriously when you are knowingly playing a character that is basically. I also think let's do away with the Flanderizing of Elle Woods, because if you go back and watch Legally Blonde, she's not dumb at all. Mm-hmm. She's actually got significant street and book smarts in the movie. She just has like a cute sense of style and is lighthearted and has a sense of humor. She's not dumb. So I don't know where we got this idea that she was dumb all the way down the line. And now she's playing this cartoonish version of the character on the trail because she watched a movie with Reese Witherspoon in it on a shroom trip.
Yep. All right. Let's go to Super Chats then.
Okay. Let's see here. Shane H. Wilder said Swedish Trade Minister Benjamin Dusa likened France banning Zin to Sweden if they tried to ban French baguettes or French wine.
Ew.
Right. Well, that's just a cultural export from Sweden, possibly the best one they've ever come up with. So I totally stand with them. I'm going to try to get some of their like limited edition international Zin flavors.
Yeah. We've got a what do you call it? Like a member chat from the Rev. Says you just can't go and do something, especially a long trek like the PCT. There's a lot of prep work that goes into trekking. Feminist articles, shaking my damn head.
That was I mean, it's just so funny how she said that in the interview and then a week later posts the video of her getting airlifted to a hospital because of her own mishandling of the situation. I think they interviewed a hiker for the Daily Mail piece about her. Mm-hmm. And the hiker said that he saw in the video she was using her water filtration equipment incorrectly.
Yeah.
And that's probably why she drank the contaminated water source and almost died. But if you think she's unprepared for the hike, you're a misogynist, clearly. Anyways, Shane H. Wilder said, Mary, I secretly thought it might be you reposting it. It wouldn't be the first time. I still remember my Alex Jones video ending up in a PCC short. Yeah, that was a classic. Well, the multiple Alex Jones internal monologues Corey Anderson said, Mary, don't do this to me again. Monday was trying. What does that mean?
What was trying about Monday, Corey?
Oh, I thought he meant like, I don't know.
Like what was
Monday is trying to do something.
The Monday show was good. So,
well, look, guys, we all have lives outside of this show. I hope you understand that sometimes I have obligations outside of this. So, we're back on regular schedule now. I hope that is sufficient.
Except for tomorrow, which there will be no show because it's going to be 93 degrees and I've got no AC in here. The computer's going to explode.
Brian Bledsoe said, Mary, did you get your Odyssey tickets yet? I have not. I'm kind of conflicted about what to do because I really was hoping to see it in IMAX. And now that all of those tickets have been snagged, which I should have seen coming, I'm like, should I just give up on that dream and see it at a normal theater? Like, is it even worth the trouble at that point?
Would be hard to catch at the IMAX. Is like those tickets are going to be the first to go. So
yeah, I feel like, okay, I could wait for another weekend at that IMAX theater, but like it's going to sell out just as fast. So I don't know what to do. I should probably get on that though. This time is ticking. Pop Culture Junkie. Oh, I think Brett read that one earlier.
yes.
Robert Delara said, Martin Scorsese is one of the greatest directors of all time. I don't think a few Gen Z critics is going to bother him. Yeah, there were some cheap jabs at him. I would say a little bit of ageism there, but I do think he does deserve some valid criticism for enriching himself off of this technology when it will probably make the industry less open to his successors. You know, I think that that's kind of a form of gatekeeping or ladder pulling in a way. Shane H. Wilder said, oh, I think that Brett read that one earlier too. John Solis said, Anna Faris has a syndicated TV comedy series, Mom.
Again, not one I've ever seen.
Didn't know about that either. Antonio Lucero said, glad to see Mary back. Thank you very much. Boston said, $2 for Ghost Victorian dime piece, as always, Mary. Thank you. Robert Delara said, someone get Ariana Grande to an all-you-can-eat buffet restaurant and don't let her leave. I just wonder how you can go on stage and perform for hours on end like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of defies reason. Like,
well,
you can't get away with that for very long.
No, the thing is, though, I actually think that might be not easier, but there's like at a certain point the adrenaline kicks in because you're moving so much. The hardest part about doing this is that you're kind of sedentary the whole time, so you have to like keep your energy up while not moving around.
I think the trick in those cases is that they kind of do nothing except for those 3 hours of activity per day. Shane H. Wilder said, is Ariana auditioning for the gender-swapped remake of Thinner? There is Petite, and then there is Flying Away in a Strong Breeze.
I never watched that movie. That's the one with Robert John Burke.
I haven't seen it
the
either.
Guy who plays Simmons in Person of Interest, and he's like a guy, like if you've ever seen a New York show, he shows up because he's just an actor from New York, so he's in everything that's shot in New York. But I never saw that movie. I know that he lost a tremendous amount of weight to do that role.
People are drawing a false equivalency between petite and underweight, and I know this isn't lost on anyone watching right now, but it's being petite has more to do with your height, your bone structure, and where you're genetically predisposed to store fat in your body. It doesn't have to do with being underweight clinically to the point where you're probably shaving years off of your life. Okay, that has nothing to do with it. There are plenty of tall women who could be just as dangerously underweight as Ariana Grande. She just happens to be short. So I think that's just another one of the fake excuses that her fans are coming up with for her. Colby Hansen said, can we go back to the bad habits of the gen before? I feel like they were more healthy than Oh, gooning alone in your basement. Like what? Like taking street pills? I don't know. Like I feel like maybe we shouldn't have bad habits like that at all, unless you mean like socially drinking or I know people who socially smoke cigarettes. That's fine, you know, as long as you're not the type of personality that gets addicted to it. Pop culture junkie. Oh, that one was about Pluribus. Did you read that one earlier?
I did that one.
Oh, okay. Colby Hansen said, houses really do look like a Vanity Fair shoot now. I work in tons of houses that look staged like in shows.
You know what else you lose out on now? In lieu of having the messy kitchen, you no longer have the ridiculously implausible breakfast spread that the kid just walks out and takes a single piece of bacon and says, "Bye, Mom."
Right.
Anymore.
She's got like a stack of pancakes up to the ceiling and fresh fruit from the farmer's market.
They don't do that anymore. And then the kid takes one thing and leaves.
In Gossip Girl, it was always the insane waffle, like make your own waffle buffet every morning on the table. And like they obviously just like drank a sip of orange juice and were like, gotta go.
Yep.
I've got exams, I gotta go.
Busy life.
Also, like no one is that busy in high school. I swear. Okay, let's see. Oh, I also wanted to add to that. People don't care about curating personal taste anymore.
What do you mean by that?
They just see something on Pinterest or Instagram and try to copy it instead of finding things they genuinely like.
I mean,
whether it's their fashion sense or interior decorating or even cooking, like people don't care about having their own original, unique sense of style or taste anymore. And I think it's a major marker of a free thinker to like be able to curate a home that reflects who you are. And what you care about, and like the art on your walls, what that says about you, instead of a replica of something at a dentist's office.
Yes.
Or what you see in a catalog at Hobby Lobby. Like buy things over time that have been used by other people that genuinely speak to you.
Yeah, like whenever I see things behind or when I see things at Hobby Lobby, I'm like, I don't want something like this. I want something that I know is at the very least more rare or like has more of a story to it. Like I don't want a giant like mural of Batman that comes from a Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know who this is for.
But the thing
is,
it would be more like I could totally see myself like finding one at like a thrift store or at an estate sale and liking it, and then like realizing later that they just got it from a Hobby Lobby.
Well, hopefully not, but
yes.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It matters that it has history.
Yeah.
And like buying a rustic farmhouse piece of furniture from a Hobby Lobby that's got like fake weathering on the paint and stuff. It's like when boomers make fun of kids for buying like pre-distressed jeans, you know, like use your own jeans, rip your own jeans, do crazy stuff that makes them look like they've been worn for many years. That matters. Anyway,
you know, here's a funny story. So in the show Graceland, one of the things I liked about the show is it focused heavily on the visual style, meaning like all of the gaps between scenes were done with like 8 or 16 millimeter film, you know, shots of the ocean with like film, like actual film burns on the film. Maybe it was done digitally, but it looked real enough. And then all the characters drove like beat up old cars. Like we're talking old, like they were from the 80s. And then in season 2, they all had like cars that were sponsors of the show. And it destroyed a visual element of the show that I really, really liked and made it modern and boring.
I remember the Hawaii Five-0 reboot show having some sort of like exclusive deal with, I forget which car brand.
They did. They had it with Chevy because of the car that Danny drove. Yeah.
It was kind of over the top.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, I agree. It's like they don't know how to use a coffee table. Mine has some books, a candy dish, old church bulletins I need to toss, old palm fronds. Okay, I was just posting about that on my story the other day, asking other Catholics, like, do you have your palms from Palm Sunday just collecting on your car dashboard for years on end because you feel weird about throwing them away? On my coffee table, I've got like some little like candle holders that I have held on to over the years. Got a framed picture, an orchid, but it's a fake orchid. I don't do well with plants. Got some magazines. You know, I do put my actual coffee on the coffee table. That's the stuff that makes the place look lived in.
See, I always love this. Like in the show, you can't really see it here. The character of Briggs drove a 1970 Ford Bronco in like a fading orange color. And it gave a great visual look. Like, why would an FBI agent, even an undercover FBI agent, drive something that could be potentially so unreliable?
Yeah, we're kind of blaming Hollywood for taking color away from us when consumers already have opted away from color for many years now. And that is the most documented in cars. Most of the cars on the street are neutral colors, black, white, gray. That's it. And like that happened before color grading became a thing of the past.
Yes.
In media. Shane H. Wilder said, I found one of those old faux wood digital alarm clocks and bought it. Honestly, it is more trustworthy than my phone alarm and loud as hell. I have yet to do that. Actually, people have said that Apple is like, I don't even know if it's related to like a software update or something, but people's Apple alarms are failing to go off, and it's like ruining thousands of people's lives.
I think that's happened to Olivia at least once.
That's a known thing that happens. It's happened to me, and it continues failing to go off for months, and then it just corrects itself randomly.
Would it be like one specific alarm or all within a time frame? Like if you set one for like 10:30 and 10:31, will only one of them fail or will both of them fail?
No. Let me show you guys something that says a lot about me. I have all of these alarms for hours on end.
Wait, is that for every day?
Yes.
Like but you're up early most days.
I am, yes. But I do it anyway because I feel like it prompts me to stay awake in the morning in order to just turn all of them off. And then by the time I'm done turning off all of these alarms, I'm like awake enough to have self-control and not go back to sleep.
I have all of these alarms that I no longer use. I just have the one that I set that resets itself every day because it's, consistently on.
But it randomly will like go off silently.
That's the worst.
That's the problem. Corey Anderson said if she hiked 100 miles, the skin on her feet would have been peeling and blistered up. I doubt she would have been alone. Women can do this. She can't.
That was a very succinctly put part at the end.
Reese Witherspoon can do it.
Exactly.
Burned Oils said Mary took 1 week plus to charge her work laptop to do her job. Definitely wouldn't last long. If she did what Cameron does, she'd be calling Papa quick, LOL.
Would you call Papa to rescue you from the outdoors?
Who is Papa?
Well, I'm assuming Papa's dad. Would you call Dad and be like, Dad, you need to rescue me from the outdoors?
I guess. I simply wouldn't end up in that situation.
I was going to say, I know the answer.
I don't
here.
go outside.
Mary would never be in this situation. It just simply wouldn't happen.
No. Corey Anderson said, no bug bites, scrapes, or twisted ankles. No way.
She did have scrapes on her leg.
Yeah, she showed
and she had
those
the
in
cactus
the blog.
Injury or whatever.
Shane H. Wilder said, all I can say is, bitch, you gonna die. You're not prepared and dressed inappropriately. Not wearing hiking boots is a good way to roll an ankle.
I watched this show on Up Faith and Family. That's right. On the Up Faith and Family Network called Blue Skies. where this woman is like she's like a homicide investigator in a national park. And from what I understand, that's not a real thing, but who cares? Sounds fun. And there's an episode where an influencer goes into the woods to like make content and fakes her falling to her own death to like bump her subscriber count.
It's weirdly like so not that far off from reality.
It's so stupid, but then you see this and you're like, okay, the writer just isn't terminally online enough to write a more realistic one.
Mm-hmm. Robert Delara said the OF mom dropping her off to go hiking by herself was not by accident. Oh, that's dark.
Yeah.
What are you implying there? Shane H. Wilder said, did she literally just pull a Christian Milioti in 30 Rock with the "It's not a voice, I'm a very sexy baby" line? LOL, LMFAO even. Yeah, that was
I remember
literally her answer. Robert said, sterile sets help with continuity in scheduling. Still sounds like laziness to me, honestly. Corey Anderson said a portable AC costs about $500. Tim can swing it.
I mean, that's not going to be done by tomorrow, though, right? Like, am I going to go out and get that? Like,
they're going to fix the AC.
They're fixing the AC
ships.
here.
Yeah.
If this show brought in $500 a day, maybe you could justify that. But we got a couple of Rumble rants here. Broody Gambit says, Mary, that is a great point. I take pride in my collection of comic books and animation original art that I get custom framed and on display on my walls that are in my display of lightsabers I build. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been wanting to decorate my walls more for a long time. It's just I have to go slow with it or else I'm going to spend so much money at once. Like, not to get original pieces, but just to get prints of artwork that I like is still very expensive.
One more here from Grog Bear the Fearsome. Says, as a single millennial dad, developing taste is not fast or cheap, but it's been fulfilling, and I think I can help my kids to develop theirs.
Greg Duvier said, I like turtles and the left lane is for crime.
I like Toidos.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Brian Bledsoe said, more IMAX times have been added since the tickets that were bought last year. The 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. in first weekend tend to have seats available.
My favorite thing in the world right now, if I was a social media influencer, would be to wear some type of lapel camera as I tell Olivia that we're going to the 11 p.m. showing of The Odyssey.
I would actually be more likely to go to a 7 a.m. showing of The Odyssey.
Yeah.
Than an 11 p.m. So I would probably sneak in a breakfast sandwich. That sounds incredible.
So this is something that I've been... I've been taking to walking an extra path to my car in the morning to get more steps in. And I'm about this close from actually getting up earlier to start going for like a morning run. But that's such a commitment because it's not like you can just do it and then go. You have to then go back up and shower and like get ready for the day. But I feel like I'm acquiescing to like actual middle-aged adulthood if I start doing that. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
You become that type of person by doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
We got a 20 here from Pop Culture Junkie. He says, my mid-century modern meets the Jetsons apartment took months to put together, but I was lucky to have the help of the Houston station art director who was amazing. Learned I never would want to be an interior decorator. Nor would I.
That sounds awesome. Jetsons vibes. Boston said, what is your D&D class, Mary? I play Inquisition. I haven't the faintest clue what that means. If I ever get into D&D, I'll let you know. High Voltage 75 said, Mary, would you ever want to be president of an HOA? I think I would thrive in that environment, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, before becoming a podcaster, I know this is different, but similar vibes. I wanted to run for city council.
There you go.
So I think I would thrive.
We had a discussion last week where I basically I made my pitch that much like my thing of like we love data centers, which is just my joke, because there's like, you either hate data centers or you don't know what a data center is, and you're ambivalent about them. You know, my point was just like, look, clearly tons of people live in HOAs, and it is your right to go and live in one if you should so desire. And everybody just started yelling at me because they're talking about how HOAs are evil.
I agree with you, for the record. I am pro HOA.
I would never want to live at an HOA, but this all came up because Olivia was cat sitting at this place where when I would walk around, I could just feel the eyes of some person who lives there, like, he doesn't belong.
Peeking through the blind.
He doesn't belong in our neighborhood, and he's walking on the grass where he shouldn't be walking on the grass. And I was just making my point that, like, that area was always seemingly plowed faster than the regular city streets. It's kept up well. All the sidewalks are clean. The garbage is taken out. It has a My Little Library, the thing where you can put the books in. It had like Jordan Peterson books in it. It just seemed like an idyllic place. And yes, there probably is an HOA Karen who says that your flagpole is 3 inches too high and your grass needs to be cut, and you can only have a house of this color or not. But some people want that. Should they not have the right to do so? And then everybody's just like, so,
they're just jealous.
That's my
they're
hot
just jealous of the HOA members. That's what it is.
And then I looked up a bunch of surveys because I was going to try and like argue it after the fact. Like, what is the actual like rate of like happiness with like if you were to take a survey, like, I'm happy with the service in my HOA, and you got vastly different results where based on like where you went to find the survey. There was one that was basically like HOAs like .com that's like 86% like love their HOA, and I'm like, okay, you're probably lying. And then a couple of the other ones were saying like 50% say they like it, 50% say they don't, and it got into a whole debate. And I wasn't actually trying to take it serious, but people were very, very passionate about it. I'm like, look, I'm not even saying I know.
That's one that gets people fired up. It just does.
I was like, I don't honestly know that much about them. I just know that I probably would never want to live there, because if somebody like tried to tell me how long my grass would have to be cut, I'd be annoyed. But clearly there's a market for it because lots of people live at them.
Neither of us are homeowners, so we don't really have a dog in this fight.
No dog in this fight.
Shane H. Wilder said, if you find one of those 70s wooden alarms, there's a company that still makes them. They're amazing. It keeps the time even if the power goes out.
Yeah.
That
was kind of like at one point I was looking for one of those rare piggy banks that doesn't have the hole in the bottom with the rubber stopper. And I had a friend that weekend find one for me while he was out antiquing.
Nice.
And we actually we physically broke it to use the money to pay for stuff in the wedding.
That's awesome.
And we got to break it.
That's the piggy bank for real grown-ups.
Yeah.
I like that. Shane H. Wilder said, I have way too much artwork. My favorite is a statue of St. Michael. Hold the head of the dragon that can double as a bludgeon. It's the one in my profile picture.
Okay.
That sounds super cool. Yeah, I need to get a lot of prints of things that I like, but I still have yet to like pull the trigger on a lot of it.
I'm gonna get my Marilyn Monroe over the grate. I'm gonna get my
your neon beer sign.
Keep calm and drink coffee or something like that.
Live, laugh, love over the sink.
Something original that really speaks to who I am as a person.
Maybe an AI generated image of a Highland cow, because people love that, right? Those are all over Hobby Lobby.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go, as always, hit the like button on this episode and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Just a heads up, once again, it's going to be in the mid to high 90s tomorrow. From what I was seeing, there we don't have AC right now. All of it is turned off. So I will be recording some individual segments and putting them out, but there will not be a live episode of PCC tomorrow. It is possible that I might end up on IRL tomorrow, but I'm not entirely sure. But also We are tentatively planning to perhaps do a impromptu Discord event during the time that PCC would normally be on tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. If you are not, go and become a member of the Timcast Discord, because I do like every other week. I'm doing a Saturday episode at 7 p.m. an hour on the Discord. Half of it is talking about pop culture news, and then I'm taking questions and talking to you guys in the chat. So you should go and join over there. All right, Mary, where can they find you?
You guys can send me validation on Instagram, that is Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X, that is also Mary Archived, and help me get TikTok famous, that is also Mary Archived.
One more here from Penamite says, catch us on Pre-Coffee Crisis every weekday from 3 to 5 a.m. That does sound like a pre-coffee crisis, my friends.
If we're ever feeling unhinged, we'll make it happen.
Shane H. Wilder says, see y'all Friday. Don't melt, Brett. Well, yeah, I mean, we're not getting tank top culture crisis either. So,
just
guys,
you got to protect the computer more than anything.
Hit the like button as always. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is normally 5 days a week. Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch, you can rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. It's a great way to help us out as well. So doing a review over there that helps the channel out. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Make sure if you are a member of the Timcast Discord to check that out tomorrow. We should be doing something live for a PCC-esque impromptu event when the show would normally be live tomorrow. So check that out. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this show will be back for you guys live on Friday. We will see you then. Bye. Everybody.